What's up YouTube? Welcome to the video. I'm coming at you here from my dorm room on a rainy Saturday afternoon. Hope you're doing well. I just wanted to film a little quick update video of sorts, just around stuff I've been doing the last little while, things I will be doing, and yeah, just like some quick updates on what's going on in my life. So I got a little list here, but the first thing I've been experimenting with is to do with productivity. This is something I got from listening to the Tim Ferriss show, the podcast, and it's using exercise as a means for achieving more productivity, and specifically like breaking up periods of work to give yourself better energy boosts and things like that. So you know, I've tried things like naps in the past. Typically I'm someone who will have that afternoon energy swing somewhere, you know, between 1 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon, where you can't really do your deep work or your creative work. And so like in the past I've tried doing things that are more just tedious, like laundry or just cleaning up different things, but I'm always looking for new things to test out and try and see if they work in my life. So that's exercise is something now that I'm trying out, and looking at how doing it at different intervals throughout the day can not only lead to better health, and like cardiovascular health in general, but also leading to more energy and increased productivity. And so, for example, in the morning I'll go out and I try to do some cardio, so maybe go for just like a walk in the sun, listen to a podcast, maybe do that for like an hour or so, and then maybe later in the day, work out in the late morning, early afternoon, and then at some point in that afternoon lull period, between 1 and 4, go on a run or something, right? And running's something that in the past I was never really into. Genetically not really suited for it, I don't think. My lungs aren't the greatest, and it just was never something I really enjoyed, but over the last few weeks, and especially like this week here, I've been going out and doing it, and there really was just like this point where it clicked and I was enjoying it, and my lungs seemed to be so much better, and my legs wouldn't get as tired as easily. So my body's really adapted quickly to that, and the runner's high that in the past I never really had, it was just more like this sluggish activity, has been something that I've actually enjoyed. So I'll keep testing out different forms of cardio and just seeing how it makes me feel, because with what I've done to this point, I felt really good, and I think it has increased my energy, specifically in the afternoons. So yeah, that's one thing that I've been trying out, and I'll continue to try, and see over a larger sample size of time how it works for me. So the second one is that I've been trying to focus on more of a plant-based diet recently, and I've never been someone who thinks that being ideological about arguments is a good path to take, and that certainly applies to this. I mean, vegans generally are notorious on the internet for being really spammy and like that, and that's stuff that I've never been interested in being involved with at all. But like I spoke about in my last video, testing out different protocols, and in this case nutrition protocols, is something I think everyone should do individually, do their own research and test things out. And so that's something I'm going more in depth with now. I first kind of started modifying my nutrition probably 3 years ago, maybe 4, when I cut out dairy and gluten, because those just seem to be kind of things that people would say led to issues, and then I would reintroduce them to see like if they actually were issues for my body. And so what I found was that my skin would be it would just clear right up if I went off dairy, whereas when I reintroduced gluten, I was fine with that. So that's one thing that I haven't consumed much of over the past few years. You know, small amounts is fine, like, you know, everything in moderation, but I have been very conscious of how much dairy I consume for the past few years. And now there's just different things that I want to look into, like, you know, how meat or the lack of affects my energy levels, looking at how different nutrients can be available in plant form versus an animal byproduct. And yeah, so I'm just, you know, testing out new things. You know, it's easy to do in my current situation, especially having a lot of free time, or a lot of flexible time at least, in my current situation, and in a position where I can control relatively well, or plan in advance for when I won't be able to follow certain protocols. So just having more control over the different variables in my life is helpful for that. And then finally, oh yeah, and then one more thing on that, I've also been looking more into what's called a slow carb diet, which is basically low glycemic carbohydrates. So high glycemic ones are ones that spike your blood sugar with glucose. Your body responds to insulin to them, which essentially pushes nutrients to look for storage, so either in your muscle or as fat cells, and basically that'll cause like bigger spikes in your blood sugar and your energy. So I've been trying this slow carb approach to it. I've been enjoying it so far. I haven't felt restricted in terms of what I can eat, and I felt generally good. So yeah, at this point, hard to tell like exactly what's causing what benefits in terms of you know, the new exercise protocol, the new nutrition, but over time we'll be able to isolate those a little more and see what's going on, but that's just another thing. And then finally, some updates for what's going on for me in the coming weeks here. So on July 23rd, which is in 10 days, my childhood best friend Jonah is flying over from Canada into Berlin. I think he's living in Portugal for 3 months, if I'm not mistaken. And so we're gonna go and spend a week or so traveling around and doing some stuff, so really looking forward to that. Yeah, and then so in the meantime, this is the last week also that all my flatmates will be in town at the same time, because from, well, actually the last few days, because Tuesday onwards, people will be traveling at different points. So it's really the last little bit here where everyone's all together. So it's super crazy that this semester's over, and for 2 of them it's been a year. So yeah, a little crazy that, you know, especially for them, that this whole experience is wrapping up. But I think people are, you know, enjoying every bit of it, so that's good there. And yeah, then finally, with trips that I have planned at this point and trips that I still want to plan, I figure I have about 3 weeks left in Berlin, which will sneak up on me pretty quick because I have about 8 weeks until I fly back to Canada. But with, like I said, the travel commitments that I have and things that I want to do, I'll only be in Berlin intermittently until then. So there's still a fair amount of things that I want to do and want to go see. So that's what I'll be doing in these next 10 days especially, rather than trying to cram it all in at the end of my trip. But yeah, that's kind of the update for this past week or so. Things I'm looking forward to, things I'm trying out. And yeah, so that'll do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, I would appreciate it if you left a like, or dislike, whatever you could hate me to. And yeah, so I will see you in the next video coming out next week. Alright, talk to you later. Peace out.